If you're constantly answering tenant calls, chasing vendors, and dealing with maintenance delays, you've probably asked yourself this exact question. Should I be outsourcing this? My name is Tom, CEO at Cavalry Works, and my team and I, we help property managers streamline maintenance coordinating. And today, I want to break down the pros and the cons of outsourcing so you can figure out if it is the right move for your business. Before we discuss the pros and the cons, let's discuss why property managers struggle with in-house maintenance teams to begin with. Well, handling maintenance yourself or in-house, it all sounds great until your inbox is flooded with tenant complaints, scheduling conflicts, and vendors that just won't answer their phone. And here's a real risk. When maintenance coordinating isn't run efficiently, it will cost you. It can cost you in tenant churn, for example. With too many work orders requests piling up and response time dropping, tenants, they tend to get frustrated, and as a result, bad reviews start rolling in. Vendor delays can cost your owners money as well. If you're constantly chasing vendors, that's lost time, and often it's also lost money, especially during make-readies when there's no rent coming in between tenants. You also have the after-hour calls. If your team isn't handling emergencies right, you're exposing yourself to liability, which can be very, very costly. And then finally, the most important one, opportunity cost. No time for growth. If you're stuck managing leaky faucets, who's working on scaling your business? Now, you can keep doing this in-house, but you need to be sure that your KPIs actually stack up, because most property managers, they don't even realize how much better their maintenance processes could be until they compare to, for example, what we do. Outsourcing can take all of this off of your plate, but is it the right call for you? Let's break it down. Here are the pros of outsourcing maintenance. Number one, of course, is that you will get back your time. No more vendor calls, no more scheduling headaches, and no more middle of the night emergencies. Instead, you can focus on growing your business instead of being buried in maintenance issues, just like your competitors are at the moment. And even if you already have a maintenance coordinator in place, ask yourself, how much time am I still spending on maintenance? And then number two, another big win, of course, faster response times will equal to happier tenants, less tenant churn, less owner churn. Because a slow maintenance process leads to bad reviews, tenant frustrations, and higher turnover. We know that. An optimized maintenance coordinating team, they make sure that work orders are logged and prioritized immediately. Vendors are being dispatched faster because they're pre-vetted, ready to go, and we have built a strong relationship with them. Tenants, they get updates, so they're not constantly calling you like, hey, what's going on with that work order? When is my vendor coming? And that's the difference between happy tenants and frustrated tenants looking for their next place to live. And then three, let's talk about 24/7 coverage, because here's the reality. Emergencies, they do not wait for business hours. And if you don't have around-the-clock coverage, you're exposing yourself to major risk, like, for example, liability, because if a real emergency gets ignored, you're going to be on the hook. If you don't outsource your after-hour services, your team, they may be burning out because your team is covering after-hour calls plus during calls. And then four, vendor management. If you've ever had to track down a vendor who's ghosting you, you know how frustrating it is. Now, of course, outsourcing maintenance is not perfect at all. It's not for everybody. So let's talk a little bit about the downsides. I will say this, as long as you make sure that you pick the right service, you will have less of these downsides. Now, what are those? First, you will have less direct control. That is just a fact. Whether you outsource it in-house, as long as somebody else is performing maintenance, you will have less control. Then number two, of course, there's the cost, right? If you pick a paid service, for example, shameless plug, Cavalry Works, we will provide a full maintenance team, maintenance department at no cost. In conclusion, should you be outsourcing maintenance coordinating? Well, in my opinion, yes, if one, you want to free up some of your time, you feel overwhelmed with work orders and vendor management, if you need a 24/7 maintenance support and you just don't want to hire a full-time staff, and of course if you want to improve your response times and tenant satisfaction. Because here's the reality, no matter how good you are currently managing maintenance work orders, no matter how good you are at that, somebody who dedicates their whole day on coordinating maintenance and they apply the right processes, they will just do a better job than you. It's just normal because they have more time to spend on it. Now, for who is outsourcing maintenance maybe not that good of an idea? In my opinion, if you have a very small portfolio where requests are very manageable, it may be better for you to still handle it yourself so you learn how to manage it, so you can also better manage a team afterwards. Or if you already have a highly efficient in-house maintenance team with proven KPIs. Now, of course, that last part is key. If you're keeping it in-house, your numbers have to prove it's working. If you don't know your average response time, completion time, and vendor efficiency down to the minute, you may not be as optimized as you actually think. If you're not sure, try outsourcing it with Cavalry, for example, for a few months and see what happens to your numbers. Cavalry, by the way, we don't have any contract, no commitment. And at the end of the day, outsourcing maintenance coordinating can be a total game changer for you, but only if it makes sense for your business. So let us know, what's your biggest maintenance headache? Drop a comment below because I'd like to hear what's slowing you down. And if you want a proven maintenance coordinating system that saves you time, speeds up response time, and improves your vendor performance, that's exactly what we do at Cavalry Works. If this was helpful at all, hit a like and follow for more property management maintenance tips. See you in the next one.